playing of that familiar theme song, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we go out to the left coast of America. Check in with Michael Snyder. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Alex, and happy Thanksgiving week to everybody. We're a little early because of the holiday, but we have some good movies to cover, and I guess we should get right to it. What do you say?
Yeah, go right ahead.
All right. Coco is the latest Pixar animated feature. It's a lush-looking adventure about Miguel, a young aspiring musician who travels to the traditional Mexican land of the dead to find out why his family is averse to music. I know, it seems a little extreme, but it makes for a pretty terrific film. The laws of the land of the dead and how they relate to the Day of the Dead, the renowned Latin American holiday that happens after All Saints' Day, or is it All Souls' Day? In any event, it's a day when families come together to celebrate their departed. Anyway, all the laws of the land of the dead, come into play because this kid, Miguel, somehow crosses over into that land to unravel his family history. And because he does this, he could very well get stuck in the admittedly gorgeous Mexican afterlife. Now, there's a life or death conflict. Other than Inside Out, this is the only Pixar movie I've genuinely loved since 2010's Toy Story 3. It's a lovely return to form for Pixar after misfires like the Cars sequels. I'm really not a fan of these wonky, illogical, anthropomorphic automobiles. And maybe the worst Pixar film, The Good Dinosaur. And then there are mediocrities like Brave and even Finding Dory, but Coco is another story, closely following the hero's journey outline with familiar results. Not quite in the league of Inside Out, but it's culturally astute, funny, heartwarming, and clever. Plus, the whole damn family can watch it, even if there's a lot of death going on. The design work and the animation are truly beautiful and filled with amazing and intricate touches, and the story, which references a couple of Mexico's most beloved music and movie heartthrobs as one of their main figures, the story is always engaging and often compelling, and the voice work is uniformly excellent. Special kudos to the kid who does Miguel, a young actor named Anthony Gonzalez, Benjamin Bratt, who is the voice of this kid's idol, the late singer-actor Hector de la Cruz, and Gael Garcia Bernal, so good on Mozart in the Jungle and in movies like Y Tú También. Here he's Hector, a goofy, lovable spirit who takes to Miguel. I mean, will kids be, pardon the expression, spooked by all these dead people in the skeleton form? Maybe, but probably not, since Coco is so lively and lovely to look at. Plus, the generational aspects and the family orientation of the story pay off with some serious emotional beats. And speaking of beats,
let me ask you something here.
Sure.
You named two Pixar pictures you didn't like.
Right.
And then Pixar pictures you did like. The two you didn't like were the only two featuring female lead characters.
What, Cars and The Good Dinosaur?
No. You mentioned Brave, and what was the other one?
And Finding Dory. I thought they were I thought they were mediocre.
They're the only two Pixar pictures that featured women as a lead.
Right, and I don't think that they did a good job, frankly.
Could it be sexism on your part?
Oh, I see where you're going here.
Yeah.
Me too. Hashtag me too.
Yeah.
No, basically no. I gotta say that Remember Me, the song, is an instant front runner for the Best Song Oscar, and of course the movie's going to be a Best Animated Feature nominee. Okay, here it comes. All these accusations of sexism aside, you'd be loco not to enjoy Coco. All right. The Man Who Invented Christmas is next on the list here. Not every Christmas movie can be a Miracle on 34th Street or a Holiday Inn. I mean, the recent seasonal crap, what have we had? A Bad Mom's Christmas, Daddy's Home 2, and The Star. All pretty dire. So it's really gratifying to have The Man Who Invented Christmas in theaters as well. It's a sincere, beautifully art-directed feature dramatizing Les Standiford's book that kind of extrapolates the circumstances involved in the creation of British author Charles Dickens' beloved Tale: A Christmas Carol. The screenwriter, Susan Coyne, from a TV show called Slings and Arrows that's really worth seeking out, and director Bharat Nalluri, who directed Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day, a very, very charming movie, depict Dickens as tormented by childhood abuse, writer's block, money problems, and the demands of transatlantic literary fame due to the success he had with Oliver Twist. But the problem is he hasn't followed up on the success, so of course he's burdened by that. So anyway, we know Dickens overcame whatever obstacles he faced to complete the story, and it would go on to define and encourage, kind and charitable virtues of the season and various holiday customs, as well as, be told so many times in various iterations and across multiple mediums. I mean, A Muppet Christmas Carol, Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol, there's a lot of them. Anyway, in this film, the casting is spot on, starting with Dickens, who was portrayed by UK actor Dan Stevens, best known as the tortured mutant anti-hero on FX's Legion sci-fi series, and of course the tortured heir to the Grantham estate on Downton Abbey. When called upon, Stevens can be kind of dashing and charming, and it can be twisted up, making him kind of a perfect choice as Dickens, whether he's basking in celebrity or hobnobbing with peers in Victorian London, in conflict with his father, played beautifully by Jonathan Pryce here, or interacting with spectral embodiments of the characters he conjures up. There's a miserly Ebenezer Scrooge that is basically foremost among these imaginary companions, who kind of come and bedevil Dickens during his lower moments. Christopher Plummer, by the way, is great in the role of Scrooge. And if you have to go see one movie with Plummer during the holidays, because he voices King Herod in The Star, make sure it's The Man Who Invented Christmas. It's really a nicely done piece of work. Okay, after watching Woody Harrelson labor under less than convincing prosthetic makeup as President Lyndon Baines Johnson in the less than stellar docudrama LBJ, my hackles were up. I was ready to lower my standards for Darkest Hour, which is a new movie featuring Gary Oldman as the newly appointed embattled British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, facing massive crises in the early days of World War II. But the makeup is a wonder. I mean, it's amazing. Totally believable, flexible, no seams, and it's matched by Oldman's performance. Not some kind of slavish imitation of old Churchill clips and audio, but kind of an extraordinary, fully realized human being in extraordinary circumstances who has to rise to the challenges that mean life and death for millions upon millions. You basically see this guy disappear into Winston Churchill. And in fact, the movie deals with some of the same historical circumstances addressed in Christopher Nolan's ambitious and effective World War II docudrama Dunkirk. Only Finest Hour focuses largely on Churchill's part in all of it and his personal struggles and issues. You get insights into his relationships with his generals and fellow politicians, King George IV, well played by Ben Mendelsohn, his secretary, who's played by Lily James of Downton Abbey and Disney's live-action Cinderella, and especially his stalwart wife Clementine, who is embodied by Kristen Scott Thomas. Oldman is like letter perfect, whether defying his opponents in his inner circle or Hitler. Speaking of Oscars, there will be a lot of Oscar talk when it comes to Oldman in Darkest Hour. It's kind of a career peak and a movie that is scintillating to watch. Kudos to Joe Wright, who also has directed movies like Atonement and Hannah and Pride and Prejudice. He does a beautiful job here. To the cast and everybody else involved. I really thought Darkest Hour was time well spent at the movies. We'll wrap it up with Call Me By Your Name, a gentle and kind of exquisite depiction of first love in a glorious and sylvan setting. Only it's not about a teenage boy and a teenage girl discovering sex and romance. It's about the relationship between a 17-year-old boy, played by the young actor Timothée Chalamet, who was just in Lady Bird, and an older but still youthful and virile scholar, played by Armie Hammer. The Lone Ranger, Ilya Kuryakin. It is a gay romance, and the Italian director Luca Guadagnino made one of my favorite movies of 2016, A Bigger Splash. This is his work. It's a kind of a different film from A Bigger Splash, which was kind of romance and mystery on a Mediterranean resort island with Tilda Swinton, a kind of a rock and roll theme. Ralph Fiennes was great in that, but this is a similar sun-kissed setting, northern Italy, summer of 1983. and a very different movie, kind of like Douglas Sirk, like dark, quietly tense, emotional content. The events go down in the early 80s, and liberal acceptance notwithstanding, gay relationships still had the air of taboo about them, especially when one of the partners was a minor. So there's that here in Call Me By Your Name. It's really a well-made film, and maybe not to everyone's taste, but just beautifully executed. James Ivory did the script. I recommend it for those who aren't put off by the topic. That's it.
All right. Okay. Yeah,
what do you got, buddy?
Just in TV, a show we've gotten to like is White Famous, and it's on Showtime, so I suggest that. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. By the way, we've been having our minor disagreements about You're the Worst, but I thought the series ended, or the season ended really well, really strongly.
It ended well, but it's being canceled after next year. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah. It was, but for the most part, it was mediocre this year. I mean, it did end right, but it was mediocre this year. Anyway, that's it. Michael, tell them where they can find you.
On Twitter at Culture Blaster, and on Facebook at Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page. We'll hopefully check back with you after the holiday.
And there's more GABNet coming right up.